Greetings, family. Sista Shanice in the house, bringing you news on what's happening in Ukraine to us as Africans and my take on the situation. Well, as most of you know, Russia has declared war on Ukraine with videos of violent combats among troops already happening on the streets. The situation escalates with Putin placing its nuclear forces on high alert. Videos of dead soldiers and casualties from ground armed fights surfacing on the internet, explosions in Kiev. Understandably, innocent civilians trapped in the city want to leave. Massive explosions have hit apartment buildings in the capital of Kiev, claims of Russian forces attacking oil and gas facilities and other buildings in Ukraine. Live interviews are also emerging of Africans trapped in their homes as bombs can be heard exploding around them. Students are begging their African governments to come to their aid. Take a listen to this video.
We're so stranded. We've not eaten, no place to rest. We're just here. And we just left the cold outside for 6 hours. We've been outside. We've been begging, pushing, dragging. It's been so traumatic just trying to get into the border, and we're not able to get there. Since morning, we've been told that all Nigerians, the embassy has gotten buses for us and stuff, but we've not seen any. And then we watch other nationalities leave, and it's really, really so sad. People have been crying, people fainted. It's really horrible. Please, Nigeria, please come to our aid.
The US and African governments are advising all its citizens in Ukraine to leave. Citizens are being advised that member states will accept refugees from Ukraine and even bypass the usual asylum application process so people can be processed more quickly. But is this a situation for all people or just a selected few of a particular race? The international community are condemning the actions of Russia. The UN are holding emergency special meetings about the situation. Reports from Ukraine of Africans attempting to flee the scenes has been very different. It is surfacing on social media that these Africans are experiencing racism and discrimination at the train station. I've seen live updates from a train station where African men were being physically prevented from embarking on the train by armed Ukrainian soldiers who formed a barricade line so that they could not leave and board the train. Claims that priority is being given to Ukrainians leaving behind the Africans, most of whom are now stranded and unaware of their fate. Having to take to social media to raise the alarm in the midst of a war that is getting worse and more violent and more racist as well. Take a look at this video.
None. Even the black guys that already have kids, they took their kids and their wife and left the niggas behind. Everyone is stranded. This is really too bad. Man, these people left without taking the blacks, man. None of the blacks, man. See. None.
It transpires that Africans at the station are being refused from boarding the trains. Some who had boarded were removed from the trains in a racist selection process aimed at giving priority to Europeans and preventing Africans from fleeing the war zone. When an announcement was made at the station to get women and children on the train first, the reports are that African men had to shout and insist that African women were allowed on board, as initially it was only European women and children who were being accepted. In a separate, terrifying video, we see the Ukrainian army's personnel pointing guns at innocent, frightened African men and women students who are saying, "We're not armed, we are students. We are dying of cold. We don't have anywhere to go. We have been here for 3 days. This is unfair. Why point the guns at foreigners? Your war is with Russia, not with Africa." It was a very tense situation that could easily have ended with an African losing their life and being shot at by the Ukrainian soldiers, who are obviously on high alert at the moment.
Pablo, we are students. We are dying. We are dying of cold. We are all dying of cold. We are dying of cold. Everybody go down. Everybody go down. We are dying of cold. We've been here for 3 days. We died of cold. 3 days. This is unfair. This is unfair.
Why point gun as foreigners?
Why point gun as us? Why point gun on us?
You have to find a rush to find
Please go on live on Instagram. We don't have arms. We don't have arms. We are students. We are students.
The situation now is that thousands of Africans, most of whom are students, who were in Ukraine studying, are trapped within its borders, many stranded on the streets, and have been for days as the Russia-Ukraine war rages on. I've seen a video of the response from the Indian government, and I want to know, what is the response from the governments of Africa? Do they not know what they ought to be doing? I've seen a press release from the Ghanaian government telling its people to leave and giving contact details of contacts in embassies that may be able to receive them. But how are they going to get out? What assistance are they being provided with to get out? And then once they get out, have these other embassies been notified that they are to receive the African students? It was the act of racism that prevented traumatized and terrified Africans from fleeing war-torn Ukraine, although they were first in line and ready to board the trains, and some were already on the trains. They were forced off, left behind to face war in Ukraine, a war that has nothing to do with them. Where are the voices of the African governments? Why is there what appears to be, this ineptness and lack of direct action to get the people out of Ukraine, to get the Africans out of Ukraine? Where is the voice of the African Union? Where are their strong words of condemnation and threats to impose sanctions by refusing to do business with racist governments and those that are not standing up and expressing their outrage at the mistreatment of Africans who are stranded at this time? It's at times like this that Africans are reminded who their friends are in the world right now. And right now, it seems that Africans have no friends. So the African governments need to step up and take action now. What I want to know is, and what we want to know is what actions are the African governments taking to remove their people from out of Ukraine? What plans are they making to feed the people who are stranded in Ukraine and have been for days? Yeah. What plans are being made to feed the people who took the advice of these governments, left their homes, and have traveled for hours and some maybe days to try and reach a train station where they can board a train to flee the country? What plans are being made to give them water? What plans are they making for their shelter and for change of clothing? Have they sent their embassy officials to these sites to make lists of the names of the people who are affected, the Africans with and without documents, and so on? Have they contacted the local hotels to check for vacancies so they can block book rooms to temporarily house their citizens? Have they gotten a list of the names of all of the people who have been impacted, the women, the children? Do they know who's left and who has not left? Are they speaking firmly and decisively with Ukraine and condemning the racist actions of their soldiers and their people and demanding accountability and fairness? Are they making such demands? Because if so, their voices need to be heard, and their voices of condemnation needs to be louder. And if not, why not? Are they talking with Ukrainian neighbors, with the neighbors of Ukraine, to ensure that plans are in place to receive their people and that a budget has been allocated to cover the cost of those accepted? Where are the European governments, who are the so-called friends of Africa, always lining up and ready to do business with Africa when it comes to digging out the minerals from the bowels of the lands of Africa to make their mobile phones, smartphones, smart television, electric cars, and all their other technological gadgets? Where are these so-called friends? The mining companies in Africa who are making hundreds of billions of pounds from mining in Africa, where are they now? And my question is, why should Africa continue to entertain and do business with people and countries who treat us in such a disrespectful way and do not come to our aid and assistance when they see the people with whom they're doing business with being treated as second-class citizens? If this is not a wake-up call to all Africans around the world, that African governments need to shake up, stand up, and wake up to the reality of our plight, then I don't know what is. You know, this reminds me of the situation in America, when the massive flooding happened in New Orleans. The Africans were supposedly American citizens, but yet, the Americans stood by for days while the people were crying for help before they actually went in with some limited help and assistance. As far as I'm concerned, we as Africans, we are on our own. We always have been and we always will be. And it's time that we step up and actually start making firm moves and major studies and strides, rather, towards our total independence as African nations. It's time to stop being the underclass of all the races of the world. Relations between Africa and Ukraine will inevitably be left in tatters. We need every African, wherever you are in the world, to express your outrage and to demand action from the AU, the African Union, and to demand action from your governments and to demand actions from your local MPs and other influencers. In case the African governments don't know what they ought to be doing, take a look at this video that was of the Indian government's response to the situation. Sista Shanice, Vex, and out of here for now.
Welcome back, everyone. Very happy to have all of you back safe and sound, back in our motherland. On behalf of Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji, both Muralidharan ji and I are present here to welcome you back. I know you have all been through a very, very difficult time, a very, very trying time. But know this, that the Prime Minister is with you every step, the Government of India is with you every step, and 130 crore Indians are with you every step of the way. And we will leave no stone unturned until every single one of our citizens are back safely back home in India. So please pass this message on to all your friends, all your colleagues, that we are with them and we will guarantee their safe passage back. Pradhan Mantri ji is in touch with the Ukrainian Rashtrapati ji. The conversations are on to ensure that everyone is brought home safely. Conversations are also on with the Russian government, and we assure you कि एक एक नागरिक को वापस अपने मातृभूमि में हम लोग सुरक्षित रखे ही चैन की सांस लेंगे. I know now all your family and friends are waiting for you, so let's go and meet them. Thank you very much. Thank you. Jai Hind.